Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to throw the horns down so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody in the show tonight. Looky there, the first lady popped in right away, says go dogs.
All
Welcome to
right.
the show, First Lady Shelby. Sooner legend, Garrett Bullware, Benji, Comanche Sooner, Just Ed, Lou Becker, man, the long-winded Lou Becker. I've got about 25 responses from him in one of my videos from the weekend. Welcome into our live show, sir. We appreciate it. I hear that at Just Ed. I love it. What's up, Drew? Good to see everybody in here. Make sure you folks wipe your feet when you come in this house.
Please.
Hit the like button. Hit the dislike button if you feel like it. But wipe your feet. Make sure you are sharing the stream with everybody as well. Wiley Litchford, thank you for coming in. Hankster, Trojan Fight, and Kimberly K.
Hey,
what's up?
Hey, I know how I can get us some more. If you dislike Notre Dame, hit us with a thumbs down.
No, hit us with a thumbs up if you dislike Notre Dame. That'll get us a lot. And then look there. Hey, what's up there? Jonathan Lewis.
All right.
Yeah, man. I hope you guys have been over there checking out his show, Bama Talk with John. He's been doing a really good job over there. We've had him in on the show. And matter of fact, may have you in here in the morning there if you are willing to jump on with me there tomorrow there, John. I'll talk to you about it later on, though. Sooner Legend, good to see you in here as well. All right, guys, we're not just going to be talking about Oklahoma tonight. We're obviously, this Tuesday show is more national college football talk, whatever the
and boy is there some.
Yeah. What's up there, Go Hornets? And whatever college football talk there is, I do want to talk to Coach. I mean, we kind of been stuck on Oklahoma gear or Oklahoma talk over the weekend, obviously following their opener against Temple. What we saw, what we didn't see. That's funny. We will talk about this in a little bit, though. Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We can talk about this part. But I wanted to kind of get into, there's a lot of talk about what is Notre Dame and what is Texas A&M as well. I think a lot of us were picking Notre Dame, but a lot of people weren't. A lot of people were picking Texas A&M, especially being at home. Mike Elko, defensive-minded coach. It definitely turned into a defensive-minded game, but Connor Weigman looked bad. Now, is it because Connor Weigman's bad? Benji's probably going to tell you he's trash. I'm going to tell you I don't believe that's the case, but I would tell you that he definitely looked not the part the other day. What say you? Was it more your defense there at Notre Dame that I believe is unbelievably good, particularly in the trenches and in the secondary? Or was it that he's just not very good?
Well, and I went back and I went back and watched a lot of the podcasts and the Texas A&M site, and he came on and talked a little bit. I can't remember if it was yesterday or today, but he talked about he's taking the full blame for the loss. He wasn't setting his feet very well. But I think there was a reason he wasn't setting his feet very well, because we were on him like stink on shit. Our defensive front, which we've talked about, we have a good defensive front. We have a good defense, guys. I truly believe that we'll probably, if we keep playing the way we are, I think we'll have a top 5 defense this season. Our secondary can throw a blanket on you. And they did that. I mean, I don't remember what the longest play for them was, but I want to say it was anywhere between 12 to 15 yards. It wasn't much. I think their average passing game was 3.3 yards per play. We had 2 interceptions. But I don't think he's that bad a quarterback. I think he came in, he's been injured, came back in to play this ball game, and unfortunately, he played one of the best defenses in the country. And I think that took its toll on him, but it wasn't all his fault. I mean, they had offensive line miscues that I saw. So there were some things there that caused him some real issues. So I think he's as bad as people are saying? Hell, guys, we've watched one game. How can you make a decision on one game?
Overreacting to week one? Are you shitting me? It doesn't happen, Coach. Come on. Come on now.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, we had the same overreaction on our side of the ball with our quarterback.
Sure.
Number one, he's boring, or we were boring. I thought it was a hell of a ball game. I didn't find it boring, but a lot of people did.
Game. Yeah.
And when you have good ball games like that, sometimes they can be a little boring. But I'm going to tell you this about our offense, Jason. Mike Denbrock had a great game plan going into the ball game. It wasn't about throwing the ball vertical up the field. It was about taking chunks of yardage and helping that young offensive line that had 6 starts for the career of that offensive line. Yeah. And it was getting the ball out quickly, and he did that. Do you know how many times we were sacked by A&M?
None.
0.
Yeah.
And that was with
A&M has one of the best defensive lines in the country.
Exactly. And that's with a freshman tackle going up against what's his name? I forgot his name now. Starts with a S, like Scourton but I'm going to tell you what.
Nick Scourton.
Yeah. And he's a stud. And you know what? We didn't give up a sack. Now, a couple of hurries, but no sacks. And
he didn't turn the ball over either, Coach. He didn't turn the ball over either.
And our quarterback, he had 63 yards of offense running the football himself. We rushed for almost 200 yards. I think it was 198. And so going against one of the best defensive fronts as well. And I tell you what, people are talking about their secondary, A&M secondary. But that they hit the portal pretty hard and got in some pretty darn good secondary players. So that I think that they're going to be better than people think they're going to be. I know you and I don't see eye to eye on that piece.
I don't know what I think about them right now, to be honest with you. I think they could be better. I think what I was saying to you the other day was that, because you were saying that you see them being really good moving forward, maybe this year, but mostly like the next few years. I would tell you, I think Mike Elko's a really good coach. Yeah. I just don't know if you can win at Texas A&M, like really win. Right.
I'm going to tell you, and you know what? I agree with you because that's kind of their history. I mean,
it's 8-4 history, man. That's just who they are.
But Jason, if you can win at friggin' Duke, I think you can win it. The resources are there. If they would just get rid of their male cheerleaders, they might be a better team.
I'm not saying shit to that. The cult is weird. It's what I'm saying is winning relative to the expectations, which are out of freaking
right.
They're not in whack with what they are. It's what I'm saying. So winning is a different thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. To me, I have a hard time believing it. Now, I agree with you. I think Mike Elko has won in places that you're not supposed to win before. But again, you can win 8 or 9 games at Duke and you're a hero, right? And then if you go back and you win 6 next year, nobody's going to freak out. If you average 8 wins in College Station over the next 3 or 4 years, they're going to run your ass out of town.
Right.
Now, is it good relative to the competition in the SEC? Yes, I would say that it is, particularly for Texas A&M, because that no matter what they want to tell you, they're not a blue blood school that's gonna they don't win national championships. No. They've got the one back when it was pre-World War II. Yeah. What are we talking about?
No, they're not a blue blood. Absolutely not.
No, man. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're trash either. I just don't think that that's the case. What they aren't.
They're kind of a middle of the road team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Middle of the road.
Here's the thing. They don't want to hear that. They want to believe that they are among the contenders to win national championships every year. And people in the media put them in there as such. Hey, Timothy Green, I'm really glad to see you in here, my man. Good to see you, my man. Just
absolutely.
I know you were struggling with some stuff. I'm glad to see you back in here. Sorry about your Mountaineers this weekend. It's not over yet, but
long ways to go.
I know that was a tough season. My son said, "Mom, you actually used your first and mid name."
Excuse me.
You all right there?
I have a sister-in-law named Kimberly K.
Sweet. There you go. Well, there you go. See, and even John said, does Texas A&M have too high of standards for the program, considering there's no proven history of winning? That's the point I'm making. I don't know that he can't be successful. I don't know what you define success as in College Station.
Right. Well,
I would tell you that if he beats Texas this year, all is good.
Yeah.
I mean, if he lost the rest of them and beat Texas this year, that's good.
Right.
Hey, here's my boy, Charlie Tecillo, back from high school. Texas A&M, just middle of the road team.
Oh, wow.
And it'll always be that way. Look, I expect this coming from you, Charlie. But cool. You know, horns down anyway. Good to see you. No, I think that's awesome. Let's see.
Hey, what I was going to say, what I was going to tell you, Jason. You know, I said I had a sister-in-law, Kimberly K. She's also an avid OU fan.
Well, then she's even better. She's better than my book.
I told her
got to glove her.
I told her get the hell out of the family.
I knew that shit was coming. Speaking of people in your immediate family, we got to get Stephen back in here.
Yeah, Stephen Coleman.
Stephen Coleman, member of the OU family, member of the Roybal family. We got to get old Stephen Coleman to come back in. We got to talk to him. Welcome to the show, Bishop Frank. Good to see you, my man. Let's see. Chicken. Good to see you, buddy, dude. Let's see.
Chicken. I love chicken.
Corporate duck. T-Boomer. Heck yeah, dude. I think it's because I also used my pick too. He said I'm supposed to include a bit of mystery. I get it. Look at there. Here's Lisa Rawls. Awesome.
Wow.
Member of the hey, this has been a newer follower of mine, but I'm a follower of hers on Twitter. This Lisa is a big time Alabama fan, but she does like OU as well. But we enjoy having you in here to watch the show with us live. Good stuff over the weekend after the Alabama win. It's been lots of fun down there.
But you know what? She said something there that was really good.
She did. Well,
and I agree. A&M should be part of the Big 12. I mean, truly. Yeah, I think that'd be a great place for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they don't want to be around Texas. I would say I would add Oklahoma into that. That's definitely something that I think is the more we think about the SEC and what it is and what it's becoming now. It's a league of some elite programs,
absolutely.
Right? Now,
absolutely,
that could backfire on some elite programs and it turns into tough for them. But I think that A&M has always wanted to separate itself from Texas anyway. The reason that they left the Big 12 in the first place was over the Longhorn Network. We all know the story to all that stuff. Yeah. I believe that that's probably the best move for them. And I don't know that they're not thinking about it. What I have heard is that the Texas legislature will never allow them to be separated again, ever. And which I believe that that's probably at least the case for now, even though there's a lot of money boosters that are at A&M that would probably push that in that direction, I guess. I agree. I don't think that A&M is really, I don't know. Their relevancy is a question. Now, I do think that this coach is the guy that this is what they've needed is a coach like Mike Elko, though. You don't have to go make the splash hire. You need to go hire the guy that can win. I think that they were smart to try to get Lance Leipold. I think he was smart to say, I don't want any part of this. But you know what I mean? I think that that's the case.
Yep. And better worry that.
Yeah, I think that right now, their biggest issue right now is going to be on the offense. I think it's a problem. John says, I agree with the recruiting, and A&M tries to pour money into the program to win, but consistency is key to winning programs, and they tend to lose the momentum when they start moving forward. Well, I think that they've
agreed.
I do too. And I think that when it comes to the recruiting, you know, they had that #1 class of all time, quote unquote, a couple of years back, where they added 5-star defensive line guys. Pissed off Nick Saban. Then he talks about how they bought the whole team and then pissed off Jimbo, and he's screaming sliced bread from here until tomorrow, right? It was the craziest little exchange ever. That's good for college football, by the way. But
sure
but it definitely showed you exactly what A&M is. And it's at that point, for sure, they were not recruiting those weren't the right guys. They were mercenary type guys. They were only getting them on the bag. We've talked about this with Shoddy a bunch of times, where he says, look, if you win them on money, that's what you're going to lose them on to. And that was certainly the case when it came to Texas A&M. Now, I don't think that that's what they're trying to do under Mike Elko. He's going to be more selective, and certainly more selective to the defensive side of the ball. But I don't know, after what we saw the other day, I like Colin Klein. I like him as the coordinator here. I just don't know if he fits this quarterback very well. He's more of a run and pass, you know, kind of that's how he played in college.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they do at K-State, which is where he was.
Yeah.
I think that Connor is a passer, and Elko was screaming at his coaches to run the effing football by midway through the third and fourth quarter the other night, right?
Yeah, he was. He was.
I don't know that that works out as well, right?
But they couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't there.
Yeah. Sean D, yeah, I think a few 10-win seasons would be a good spot for A&M fans to
it would be. It would
I
be.
agree with that too. And as a Georgia fan, Mark Richt was averaging 10 and 11 wins for a long time. He just wasn't winning natties. So eventually that runs out of, but if you can sit there and do that at A&M, I think that they would be happy about that. Particularly now with a 12-team playoff, if you can win 10 wins, if you get 10 wins in the SEC, you're going to be in the playoff.
Yes.
So, you know, it kind of changes things. Then. Let's see.
Absolutely. But, you know, and honestly, that ought to be their goal. But to get there in the SEC, that's no easy task. 10 wins.
No, and you have to right now. If they go to this 9-game SEC schedule like we expect after the first 2 years with Texas and Oklahoma in the league, more than likely, if it stays anywhere close to the same, they're going to continue having LSU and Texas every year. That's what it looked like. Now, I think there could be some changes to that, but it's been LSU has been their protected rival. Of course, they just played them in the West. I think it kind of has turned into a bit of a rivalry there, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coach, what did you think? Before we get into what we were really going to talk about, I just said LSU. What the hell happened against USC the other night with them? And just lack of discipline is what I felt like. Now, I will preface this by saying, as much as I can't stand Lincoln Riley, well done by USC and the Trojans in the way that they did play with composure. I think Lincoln had a great game plan. Damn, that's hard to say. And I think I just threw up in my mouth a little bit, Coach. And they came through in clutch situations. you know. But LSU still wasn't very good. What's your thoughts? Go.
Well, as their head coach would say, Brian Kelly, why are we still talking about this same old shit? Well, the reason, Brian Kelly, everybody keeps talking about that same old shit is because you can't win big ball games. And so I'm still not sold 100% on how good USC is, because I'm not sure how good they are in Kelly land. And I just like y'all have watched Lincoln Riley and you've watched that movie, I've watched that movie with Brian Kelly, and it's the same old shit every time. And I can't remember what his win average in big ball games is, but it's like maybe 20%, maybe. So it's not good at all. So I don't think LSU will be very good this year. You heard me say that long ago, that I didn't think LSU was going to have a good season. I didn't think they were going to be very good. I think the Kelly factor falls in there. And yeah. I think honestly, I think Brian Kelly is in over his head at LSU.
It's not a great fit, is it?
No, it's not. I've been saying that.
Yeah. Well, when he tried the fake accent thing and all that shit, and then it just, well, you think about it, actually, LSU has lost now 5 straight openers to start the season. Yep. So it precedes him. But the last 3, the Florida State ones, the first one, the Florida State, little wacky, but they had some times of that game where you were like, what the hell are y'all doing? Stupid mistakes. This game, look, I don't care what, as much as I just said what I said about USC, and I'm not going to repeat it for USC fans in here, but as much as I said what I said, you don't win the football game if you don't have those 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties at the wrong damn time for LSU. Both of those last 2 scoring drives are stopped if you don't have those stupid penalties that ended up resulting in points to either go ahead or go ahead and win. Right? It's
exactly.
And
Trojan fight. Let me say this: you don't listen very damn well. You must have gone to school at USC. You're a little freaking slow, brother. I have been saying for months and months and months that LSU was not going to be very good. So is it a narrative change for me? Not only no, it's not. But at the end of the day, Trojan fight, you know what my thoughts are about what you think? I really don't give a shit. That's what I think. And you know what? Jason complimented USC. Y'all can kiss my ass, because I don't give a shit how you played. Because you know what? We're still going to beat your ass in the Coliseum. Mark it down, brother.
See, I don't have to puke in my mouth anymore and say anything because Coach just, he handled it. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. Neelio, thank you for the super chat. Yo, Jason. Yo, everyone. Yo, Neelio.
Yo, I love me some Neelio.
That was some hilarious shit, by the way. Appreciate it, guys. It's good stuff. Can we replay your clip from what was said Thursday? No, we can't. You can go back and watch it yourself. What did he say Thursday? Just say what you're talking about and get it out there. What are you talking about? Don't be a pain in the ass, bro. What? You owe me 200 when that don't happen?
I think it was a multiple. I think it was a multiple deal, correct?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to remind me. Look, people make proclamations in this show every damn time we turn it on. So it is what it is. While we're thinking about it, and while we are reminded, folks, make sure that you jump on to our official show merchandise website, hofmedia.us/pod-merch. You can get your I don't give a shit gear from Coach Roy Ball. All the horns down gear you could possibly imagine. And yeah, I mean, what else do you need? What else do you need? We have our new, for you Oklahoma fans, we actually have a new HOF logo that also adds in a little Oklahoma flair to it. You can jump in there and grab that as well. Love that stuff. Yeah. Chicken also has us a super chat. Next shot on me, Coach. Chicken, thank you for the super chat, sir.
Thank you, Chicken. You're a good hombre.
Also, get 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data when you switch to Mint Mobile for your wireless service. Unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45 for the first 3 months. That's $15 a month, folks, on the nation's largest 5G network, the T-Mobile network. Make sure you get over there and check it out. It's well worth trying it. You don't have to actually switch carriers to start off with. You can use the phone that you have right now, test them out against each other. You just use a electronic SIM. You don't even have to talk to a salesperson, and you can save, like I am with 2 phones, $1,600+ this year on your service. If you don't like it, no harm, no foul, but it definitely helps out the program, and you can save a lot of money. So give it a look. Try mintmobile.com/HOF. That's mintmobile.com/HOF. The free way to help the program.
How many we got, Jason?
Hit the flipping like button. Yeah.
How many we got?
We have had over 200 folks in here already, and we have update. Come on. We better be over 10%. I can tell you that.
Come on, guys. Come on. Hit the like or dislike.
Oh, yeah. We've had 200. We've got 25 likes. Folks, make sure you hit the freaking like button. Okay?
Come on, guys. Please.
We'd appreciate it. All right. Now, moving on. Let's see. Where were we at? Caden Durham should have come to OU. His boys, Corey Moore and Colin Simmons, didn't go there. Look, guys, they're not. That's the question that I would have about LSU. Where are they at? I don't think that they showed that they were a whole lot better defensively, particularly in the trenches. USC was able to run the ball at will. They were able to run the ball at will. Now, what I thought that Lincoln did very well, again, run the football. He ran the football. It's not often you see him commit to running the ball. I think he knew he was going to have to help out his defense a little bit by doing so. He did that. You know, I'm not a fan of the cat, but again, his game plan worked for the other night. Again, I would tell you that they still needed all the mistakes in the world. And I do believe that LSU is going to continue to be what it was a year ago, which is an offensively led football team. I don't know that that really helps you in the SEC, just like it didn't last year. They ended up 9-3. They've got a tougher go of it this year as far as schedule's concerned. I do agree with whoever it was that said it a few minutes. I think Hangster said that there'll be a different football team when Oklahoma plays them at the end of the year in the swamp, or not in the swamp, in Death Valley. I agree. But they've got a tough schedule. I believe they're on the road, or no. They got Bama at home, but Bama looked a lot better over the weekend. Offensively speaking, Jalen Milroe looked like that guy. Offensively, they're going to look really good. And I thought that they were pretty good on defense too, particularly against a Western Kentucky team that is high flying, going to score points. You know, it's Western Kentucky, so I'm not going crazy about it. But I mean, you didn't give up anything to them. So that's, pretty big, right? It's still pretty big. In the end, I kind of agree with you. I think at LSU, I think it's a bad mix. I think I don't think that Kelly's a terrible coach. I think he's not good for this program. To me, you could walk out in the swamp and get 11 guys to play better defense than they're playing. And I don't understand why Harold Perkins is not on the edge.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That does not take a damn rocket science to figure out. I mean, when he did play him on the edge, what did he go do?
Get it?
He went and made plays. But why do you have him at Mike linebacker?
Only on third down, right? It was only on third down.
Only.
Yeah.
Wow. It's incredible.
I don't
man.
get it,
Hey,
man.
hey,
I don't get it.
I do. Kelly. Oh, I'm going to blame him for everything. Okay.
Well, it's the head coach thing. We talked about this. You know, you get it's head coaches and quarterbacks. They get all the love and all the hate.
They get whichever one it is. You're exactly right. Get the love or you get the hate. That's the way it is.
Sooner Cowboys. Remember what the word of the week. The word of the week, and we're about to get into some of this, is context. Context. Okay. 22 carries was a lot of damn carries a year ago, number one for SC. What is it? What's the mix between run and pass, though, between them the other night? I don't have it in front of me. I don't really care. The point is they did it at the right time. And yeah, they were definitely better on defense. I think that I was talking to USCJ about it a little bit yesterday. To me, the biggest play that SC made defensively may have been on that very first series when they sent that blitz from the right side and it stopped that run play on fourth down when probably Kelly should have taken the points there. Now you get away with nothing there on the goal line. I didn't like that. I didn't love it.
No.
But I would tell you
take the points.
That you got to take the points there. And points were at a premium. You know, points were at a premium. Yeah. It was a pretty good defensive day overall, I would say. But the point is that it wasn't that breakneck speed that they were playing at SC that does not help your defense all the time. It was smart that what they did, whatever the mix was. You got to think about it. Context is a big thing about what you're talking about. And we can sit here and point to one thing, and I could beat it to death. You know, whatever the point is. And tomorrow on the show in the morning, make sure that you get in here and check out Rise and Shine College Football with myself. I'm going to talk a lot about Oklahoma and some of the context, again, that we need to be talking about in some of these situations. Actually had some stuff that popped up. Coach, I was telling you about it before the show, where I'm trying to get fans of Oklahoma to understand that Jackson Arnold is not a problem. He isn't going to be a problem. But in doing so, I think that some people may think that I'm not a Michael Hawkins fan. That couldn't be further from the truth. I think that Michael Hawkins very well may be better than Jackson at some point. I don't know.
Sure. But you know, Jason,
I don't have a problem with Michael Hawkins.
No, you have a problem with neither one of them. But I'm going to tell you something, guys. Again, you know, and I'm just some of you may not like what I'm about to say. Last year, how much were we bitching about our quarterback last year? And Arnold was better. And now this year we're back on the same track. You know, but here's the thing that I want to say is those coaches are with those guys 24/7. They know who needs to play. And I'm going to tell you, as a coach, you know, you're going to play the best players. Or, I know I did, because if you don't, guess what? You get your ass fired. So you're going to play the best people. And so I'm not going to say one's better than the other, but I am going to buy into what the coaches see on a daily. And that could change mid-season, could change this weekend. I don't know. But again, those coaches see them enough to make the right decisions. That's all I'm going to say.
Without giving away what we're talking about in the morning, I think that, you know, in the end, I think two things can be true at the same time. Okay. There should be nobody calling for Jackson Arnold's head, but that doesn't mean that if he was to get hurt or something like that, or he was to not play well and they needed to go to Michael Hawkins, that I think that they would struggle there. I don't think so. I think he brings something to the table that you may not get with Jackson. That doesn't mean it's time for him to play right now. It means that it's a good situation in Norman to have. That's what I was getting at. Period, plain and simple. Okay, Sooner Cowboys, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the comments. But you say LSU had 117 rush yards on 26 carries. Okay, what does that mean? Because to me, 117 yards isn't a ton, right? You usually want to keep it under 200 if you can. And what would you have gotten on USC's defense a year ago if you rushed the ball 26 times? Probably 300 yards.
Or more.
Right? I mean, you just got to take a look at that. So there's a difference in what we're talking about. And, you know, I appreciate what you're saying. And I appreciate the fact that you're saying they didn't have a bunch of rush yards. What they did was they made a commitment to the running game at USC. They made sure that they didn't have a ton of 3-and-outs. That's what we talk about when we say complementary football. Give your defense a couple fewer possessions per half. Your defense has to do its job. They did their job, I believe, overall. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was bad. They were better. Edge rushers make way more than the Mike linebacker. Dude, you're not wrong, Professor. This is obviously about Harold Perkins. I don't understand the Harold Perkins shit. It doesn't make sense.
Well, you saw where somebody posted
on third down. Why the hell isn't he there other times whenever he was disrupted?
Well, you saw where somebody posted that they had seen on Perkinson's Twitter that he wants to play Mike linebacker.
I don't give a shit what he wants to do.
But exactly. And as a coach, I'm going to tell him, I don't give a shit where you want to play. You're going to play where you're going to make this team better. And that's on the edge. And I'm going to tell you what, he's going to screw himself out of, you know, some good contracts in the NFL if he stays at Mike linebacker, because he looked like shit.
Yeah, I mean, go make your money. I understand what he was getting at. I don't give a damn what he wants. I don't care what he wants. If you're your job as the head coach at LSU is to win football games, and the best way that you can do that is to have Harold Perkins rushing the quarterback. Plain and simple.
Hey, Matt, let me tell you, Matt. How did I feel about Peyton Bowen? How did I feel about Peyton Bowen? I'll tell you exactly how I feel. You know what? We'd love to have him, but guess what? I don't give a shit, because we got a secondary that can blanket your ass, and I don't think he's back there. And he's where he needs to be at OU, and I wish him all the best. So that's how I feel. That should answer your question.
Look at Lisa getting after Trojan fight. Atta girl, Lisa. I was a T-Town. Bryant Denny.
Lisa knows he's an idiot too.
Yeah. Bama fans are not pumping WKY as a great team. What a crock. Bama fans are happy. New coach saved the roster and off to a good start. Listen, yeah, there are people, the people pronouncing them dead are not sitting in this room. I can tell you that. We have not been among them. I think that you could, I think the questions that you've had about whether they're going to suffer a setback, there may be still a few of those. When you start getting into SEC play, what can you do offensively? What are you going to do defensively with that, you know, unproven talent, I guess, on the defensive side of the ball? I still think that it's still a ton of talent when you look at it. Overall, their blue chip ratio is only behind like Ohio State's. And that's after they lost as much as they lost to the portal when Saban left. So, yeah, again, not predicting the downfall of Alabama here, folks. Not happening. We're, not doing it.
No, and you know, Jason, I've been interested to see what that culture looks like and what's going on with those things. But at the end of the day, you know, I saw nothing but good this last weekend, and things looked well. But anytime you lose a legend, guys, you got to sit back and look a little bit, especially when his ass is right down the hall in an office. It gives you some pause. So, but I didn't see anything negative this last weekend.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're trying. Thank you for being here. We appreciate that. No, they didn't try and wear your D-line down. Good win for y'all. We will see how the season plays out. Look, I would tell you that I think that, again, I think you can overreact to week one. We've talked about this a lot. You can overreact to week one. Now, the next thing that we should probably talk about, and I think that this is probably the bulk of our show, and I want to get you guys to jump in here and give us your opinions on this. Florida State and even Clemson after week 1. Now, I think you could overreact to Clemson in week 1, but again, when I say context, I mean context. There's a lot to what we're going to say, but let's start with Florida State. Another loss last night, and it wasn't really close to Boston College. They almost lost to Boston College last year as well, kind of holding off on a furious comeback. But I'm going to tell you what I've been saying, and I know everybody wants to throw this on DJU. You can do that if you want to. I mean, I don't want to make this just about DJU because I'm not going to do it. First and foremost, I'll just tell you, I'm a fan of Big Dave. I'm a fan of DJU and Mateo. I think that they're great kids. I think that he might be broken. I think he might be broken. I think that when you look at what happens at Clemson, Cade Klubnik is also broken. And I think that they've lost confidence in what their abilities are and were coming into their careers in college. I told you before the season, Coach, we talked about this a lot, that FSU is not that damn good. They're not that good. And they're going to blame it on DJU anyway because it's easy.
Well, and again,
here we are. Go ahead.
And again, we talked about it earlier, and we've already talked about it in the show. But, you know, guys, the blame was always going to go to obviously the coach and obviously the quarterback. Okay, I don't care how you slice it or dice it. I don't give a shit if the defense is no good. Guess what? They're going to blame the quarterback. DJU. I tell you what, we played him several years ago when he was at Clemson at Notre Dame, and he tore our ass up. But I have seen, and I've watched each time he's gone to a different ball club. And guys, number one, how many different schools has he been at? 3. And you know what, guys? You got different coaches in your ear. You got different systems. And I tell you what, that can all get so convoluted. And I'm not sure he's real sure what he's really supposed to do. I'm not sure he's really sure about his mechanics. He's a lost young man. And then you add a bunch of shitty players to go along with him.
Mercenaries of that.
Exactly. And that just multiplies the issue. And it makes me sad for that kid. It really does. Because he's a good kid. He comes from a good family. But I'm not sure that can be fixed now. Not at the collegiate level. No.
And not there in Tallahassee. I don't care what anybody says about Florida State and the biggest thing that I've said about FSU, you're Danny Cannell out there whining and bitching and complaining about every little thing, and that's the entire fan base that I've seen lately, and even people that I respect in the fan base. I'm a fan of TJ Pittenger and his show, the Double Fries No Slaw. I like those guys. I'm over hearing your bitching, guys. I'm sick of it. And it's, to me, you can't tell me that it's such a great atmosphere and culture in that locker room when you have they gave up on their teammates at the end of it. When they didn't make it to the playoff, they bolted. That's not great culture. That's a mercenary culture, because I guarantee you, if they had a good showing against Georgia in the Orange Bowl, they made themselves a shit ton more money than they were going to make just going to the Senior Bowl or to get ready for the Combine. A lot more eyes would have been on them in the Orange Bowl. If you don't lose 63-3, don't give me that hurt shit. You can get hurt walking out of your front door. You get hit by a jet when you get there. It doesn't matter. If you're going to have injury issues and you're a football player, if it doesn't happen during the Orange Bowl, it'll happen somewhere else. It could happen at the combine. You're fucked then too.
Well, and there was guys that left the team that wasn't even a good reason for them to leave. I mean, at the end of the day. So that culture, and we've been talking about that for months and months and months too. The culture there is shit.
Shit.
It's completely shit. And like you said, Jason, they proved it up in the, when they got their ass kicked by Georgia.
Right.
So yeah, I DJU, and again, we've talked about this, and Jason, you've heard me say this several times before the game started, but
yeah.
I knew all the blame was going to go on DJ.
Yeah, no doubt.
And here we go. Here we go.
It's kind of that same, the question that everybody has right now. And I don't think it's much of a question. I think that you have to build your program through high school so that it is about more than what they're getting money-wise. That doesn't mean you don't have to pay high school players, because you got to, right? You're going to have to do that. But the bottom line is that you also have to, if what you're doing is you're killing your culture by the guy that was going to back up, and I'm not saying this isn't a DJU thing that I'm talking about. The fact that backup quarterback, once he got hurt in the ACC championship game, he knew he wasn't going to be the starter the next year. He bolted. He didn't wait around for the Orange Bowl, and probably that would have helped him get a better gig leaving there had he played in the Orange Bowl. But even he didn't do that. Right. So that's where your culture's jacked up, because he knew he was going to get replaced. So he was like, why the hell would I play for them and help them out?
Yeah.
You're not playing for your brothers now. It's not about more than what you can do for yourself. That's never going to work for college football. It's never going to work for any football team. It's got to be about the good of the team first. And then we'll see what happens. Money is going to be a part of college football from here on out. I don't care how many people love it or hate it. That's a fact. It's going to be that way. But if all you're recruiting on is money, and you are, these things that you recruit on in high school are now becoming a lie because of a transfer portal guy after that, then forget about it. Lisa Ross says, much respect to you as well, and thank you. OU, my second team. Brother-in-law played DB at KSU for Stoops when he was in Manhattan, and love him, so we love OU since Bobby.
Oh, awesome.
That is awesome.
That's cool. That's cool.
Very cool. Let's see where we're getting, and we can go ahead and get into some of this other stuff as well. Look, Clemson, who is part of the problem for DJU, and we know that because he's now part of the problem for Cade Klubnik. What's going on? We're going to welcome in real quick here. Now, Coach, play nice, okay? I love us.
I like him. I like you.
Coach, what's going on? Hey, congratulations on that big win, man. You guys took care of business, man. Let me get my camera back up.
So did you guys, brother.
Yeah. You guys really went in there and handled business, man. A hostile environment.
Hey, much love to our boy USCJ, man.
Good to see how you guys doing, man?
Back on the program.
I love USCJ. Now, Trojan Fight, he can kiss my ass.
Who's Trojan Fight? Who is that?
He's in the comments in here. He's always
okay.
We actually don't hate Trojan Fight because he at least shows up all the time and defends his program.
Yeah,
we
just like talk a little shit to him. But you know what? I do have to say that the defense played lots better this weekend, you guys. Yeah. And the complimentary football was there, which I think made a huge difference. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. Likewise, Oklahoma handled business too. We know it was against Temple, but hey, you got to start somewhere. And they showed potential. Jackson Arnold, he didn't look like Dylan Gabriel. I can tell you that much.
There's a reason why Dylan went to Oregon, and it's not just because Oregon has all the money. It ain't that.
Yeah.
So there was a reason why he went there. He needed
Oregon struggled. Oregon struggled, baby.
I'm gonna tell you what I believe is the issue with that, which I think was partly the issue. Of course, the defensive coordinator, but I think, you know, when you're getting all these guys in the transfer portal, they pay for multiple guys, you know, between them and Ohio State. I truly believe that everybody got to gel together in chemistry. And I'm going to tell you something that nobody really even knows. My buddy's son plays for Oregon. He told me that yesterday. He called me and said, Jay, he said, look, man, you know, these guys, everybody's walking around with the big head. And, you know, there's a lot going on. So you got to gel together with this transfer portal NIL stuff, man. And get the right pieces in play.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And we were just talking about that. We were talking about DJ and you know, he's been through so many systems, and you know, that's really tough on kids when they change from one program to, especially quarterbacks. Let's hit the nail on the head here. The quarterbacks, it's tough to go from one system to another because you're being told so many different things. It's a different system. Those things become really difficult. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Absolutely.
I think, well, when we're talking mercenaries, and if you're going to bring up Oregon, I think they're starting to teeter on the line of a mercenary program as well with Dan Lanning. I respect Dan Lanning. I don't know what he's done yet to be considered one of the top 5 coaches in the country.
No, he's not.
He's not as far as
I mean, you know, to me, and this was really what was frustrating, because you see all these national analysts, you know, getting up there, man, Dan Lanning's recruiting. He's big time recruiter. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, this guy's really buying players. Like, how are you it's not even about being an excellent recruiter, you know, because now these guys have agents that they talk to. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not saying that he's not a people person. He can't attract people, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, come on, you know.
We've said this a bunch, Jay. You got to pay all of them. You got to pay them all. That's not what this is. But if at the end of the day, Shawty said this a bunch, I think is one of the best things I've heard so far. If what you win a player on is the bag, that's what you're going to lose them on too.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to lose them on too. So if it's just about money and you have not built a relationship with this player that makes him trust you and want to play for you, and that's not the biggest part of why he's there, then what does it matter? Because if you don't win and keep bumping his salary up, how long are you going to have him?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah. You don't even hear guys, you know, I mean, like, they get there, you can get there the first semester, and then really you're out of there the next semester based on if you got another offer from a third party guy. You know what I mean? Are you even considering the education aspect anymore? I know, you know, that's not a popular thing to say, but, you know, education still is important, right? But no, we just want to get up out of here because of the money.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and that's what education is becoming, you know, hindsight for a lot of these players, because at the end of the day, that, you know, they come in here and get $1 million and then move on to the league. But you know what? How many times, guys, do we see players that go to the league and then come back and finish their degrees? Right. Because you know what? They need to do that, because the time they have in the league is short-lived. I mean, that's not a long-term job. And yeah, you can make a lot of money, but hell, if you ain't smart enough to handle your money, then you're going to have issues too, because you know this. Once you go to the NFL and you have an agent, and then you have a brother-in-law, and then you got everybody.
You got everybody
in the damn. Everybody is just like it's like piranhas attacking you. And
hands
next
out.
thing you know,
everybody got their hands out, Coach. All of them.
Next thing you know, you don't have a pot to piss in.
Well, yeah, I have multiple buddies of mine that play in the league, and the thing about it, you know, if you're not like at the time, my buddy played with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed, and I remember kind of moving around with those guys, went to a gym with those guys and stuff, and I remember my buddy trying to keep up with them, but they were on a whole nother level. Unless you get that type of money that Ed Reed and Ray Lewis had, you know, it's like, hey, you got taxes, you got the agent, and before you know it, you're only clearing about maybe $200,000. It's not like what you think. You know, I don't think a lot of people really understand that, though. You have to be a big name to get those big contracts.
is this enough to quit putting me in timeout? If not, at least let me get this in and make it worth it. Okay. It's not enough to get you in out of timeouts. I will always put you in timeouts. You know this is part of why. And in fact, you ask for it, you get it. There it is. Timeout for
hey Jason. If he adds some zeros to that, it might keep him out of timeout, right?
Maybe for a show. Maybe for a show. But not in the long run. We know better. Lisa Ross, fun, informative show, and great fans, people here. No matter who wins November 23rd in Norman, I hope they both are playoff bound, and OU will beat the Horns again. Horns down. Everybody, horns down. So
I didn't hear you guys. What do you guys think about Texas, man?
I'll let Coach start with that. You know what I think about Texas. We've talked about it. But, Coach, what do you think about Texas?
I don't give a shit. No, I'm going to tell you. You know what? I still believe Texas needs to prove up that they're really a consistent championship caliber football team. Yeah. I know they have the athletes. I'm not a Sark fan. Sark has not consistently won more than 7 games. Last year was, an anomaly for him.
7 wins Sark.
7 wins Sark.
Absolutely.
So I'm still not sold. I gotta see more.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Like 2 years in a row, like they lost against Pac-12 teams 2 years in a row, right? I think in the bowl games last year against Washington and the year before, it was 2 years in a row against Washington, right?
2 years, yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not necessarily sold on them either. Hey, what's up, Sooner Legend? How you doing, man?
Okay, man. Sooner Legend. It's wild because all these OU fans in here, none of them like USC, but they all love some USCJ.
Hey, man, it's nothing but love with them, man. Hey, they come over there. Hey, it's nothing but love.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And we'll get into a little bit of that. I wanted to say just real quick on what, I'm in agreement with that. I think the problem with Texas is not going to be what they do offensively. When Sark is your head coach / offensive coordinator, you're going to be pretty good on offense. I think they're going to remain pretty good on offense. Their defense, I mean, Colorado State was moving the ball fine. The whole first half, running the ball, doing all that stuff. It's Colorado State. Now, they did what they were supposed to do. They won it convincingly. They didn't let them score. I'll give them that. And I'm not saying, but I think this weekend we're going to find out a lot about Texas because they go to the big house, Michigan. You're going to find out what happens when you get punched in the mouth by a defensive line that's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Right? They're going to try to run over you.
And an offense is going to line up and run through your ass. I mean, if they play and again, guys, again, Michigan didn't just set the world on fire either this last weekend.
No.
So
they didn't.
That's going to be interesting too to see how they respond in this ball game.
Yeah. We go to Michigan on the 27th of this month. So for us, we kind of want to see. It's kind of going to be a gauge. We can kind of gauge the situation based on this game. I really hope Michigan Texas rather just knock Michigan all over the place, wear them down. So by the time we get there, we have it's a lighter situation for us.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we talk a lot about that. You and I talked about it on the phone yesterday, but look, I had said earlier, I kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit, so I don't want to say it all again. But Lincoln did what he was supposed to do the other day, running the ball, and just trying to play complementary. And that defense, it's a lot different than what we've seen the last couple of years at SC.
I do have a question for you, SCJ. Do you think because for the first time in a long time, I did see Lincoln Riley play some complimentary football.
Yeah.
Number one, would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Play complimentary football. And, what else were you going to say? And I'll respond to it.
Well, and number two, do you think he'll keep that? Do you think he can be consistent with that throughout the season?
Absolutely. I think really, sometimes, as I stated, I think I told Jason before, man, sometimes when you get pushed up against the wall, it really forced him. Alex Grinch was his kid's godfather. I mean, they had an extremely close relationship. So I get Oklahoma's fans. I get their issues with him because, I know that they kept him a little bit too long. However, he was pushed up against the wall. USC, they wasn't having it, man. And there were some meetings that took place. Hired the right guy, and you couldn't hire a better staff right now. You're talking about Deanton Lynn that came from UCLA, turned number 89 defense all the way to the number 10 defense. You got Eric Henderson that came from the Rams. You hired all these guys. So Matt Entz, North Dakota State, you saw what his team did against Colorado last week. So you got like a professional team around him. So I think he's really focused on just the offensive aspect and, still managing the team, but really letting Deanton Lynn just really he essentially relinquished all that aspect of it, man, and just really let Deanton Lynn do what he got to do. So, yeah, he has no choice. And now you reap the benefits. You see what happened with LSU, and you see what happens when you get the right type of defense in play. It really makes your job a lot easier. It doesn't put that much pressure on you.
Well, and, and the reason I ask that is because, you take that air raid family tree and you really, I don't, bar none, they never play defense. And it goes all the way back to Mike Leach. I mean, and I loved Mike Leach at Texas Tech. I loved him everywhere he went. But but again, defense was inconsequential to those air raid guys. So that's why my jury's still out on Lincoln and seeing if he can keep that complimentary part of the football game going.
Well, think about this. Think about what they pay these guys. Now, I'm not gonna put out, but they paid these guys some big time. Eric Henderson. You talk about a head coach that came from North Dakota State. So, I mean, and I know Jason got a little theory about that, but that's a whole another story. I think it was Jason I was talking to about it, about Matt Entz. Yeah. So
go ahead. Yeah.
I think we're gonna be in some good shape, man. I think Lincoln. I think it's a big relief off of his shoulders right now, and I think he's good, man. USC, you guys not feeding USC
biases.
It's because let me tell you why, brother. I'll tell you, Trojan White fight. It's because we like him. Okay?
First off,
he doesn't talk stupidity.
Yeah,
and I talk off air.
Yeah, we do.
He knows exactly what I think about Lincoln Riley. I just told
him. And we talk about it. Matter of fact, I had to convince Jay. We were going back and forth on the phone the other day. I think we were texting, or he might have responded to a tweet, and I called him. I said, Jay, and Jay was giving me his spiel. He said, look, man, this is. I said, but Jay, it's not the same Lincoln Riley that you know anymore. And so, yeah, he has his feelings about him. And as I stated to Jay before, I said, I understand the pain. We should have kept Alex Grinch like that. But I tell everybody this, we would have never got the coaching staff we have right now if we didn't keep Alex Grinch the extra year longer. Because you look at the pieces that were put together, look, this is the best coaching staff. Did you see what we did to LSU the other night? That was a so-called SEC team. And I can't even remember last time we played defense like that, man.
Yeah. Trojan fight.
Stop it. Let me just finish on this with Trojan fight. USC Jay makes sense when he speaks.
Yeah.
You speak in total nonsense, and you're full of shit at the end of the day. And so I'm just telling you, that's why I can sit here and have a great conversation with USC Jay, whether we agree or disagree. But you can have a great conversation. With you, it's one-sided all the way, and you say some of the most asinine things in the world. So
that's not what we just said either. Hold on, I'm stepping in here now, Coach. All right, Trojan fight, you got to stop, bro. You got to stop. What did I say? The word of the week is earlier. It's context. There's things that I can still sit here and I will tell you that I'm going to have to see more from Lincoln and USC before I just go crowning them freaking Big Ten champions this year. I got to see more.
Now we all got to see more, but the thing is, I think we can gauge it off of the quality of the coach, which was Brian Kelly. You know, he was at Notre Dame, very successful coach. LSU's always going to have big time athletes, and so we can't leave that aspect out of it as far as where we gauge this thing, because you put anybody else there. I mean, that was a big time team we played against. The game was a quality athletes, and I even hit somebody up from LSU today, man, because I saw them on their podcast. I mean, these dudes are literally crying all over the place. I said, look, man, you guys played a heck of a game. I said, it was two great teams out there. Anybody could have lost that game. And so much respect to you. I said, I expect big things from you.
Yeah, Chicken, you're such a bullshit.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Bro, Chicken, you better stop. I'm about to kick your ass out of here too. Stop with all this already. And Benji, finally, I'm gonna respond to this and I'm moving on. I said the first half that they were letting Colorado State move the ball with the run game in the first half. And I also told you that Texas did what they were supposed to do. It's still Colorado State. We'll find out this weekend what they're really about when they go up against a real defensive line, real offensive line, and get punched in the throat. Don't start off with that stuff. It's not happening.
All right. And let me say this. I'm super excited. I hope the Irish and the Trojans have an undefeated season this year, both of them.
Absolutely.
When we come to their house.
Absolutely.
And that's always tough, because I'm going to tell you, Notre Dame has a tough time winning.
Yeah, last time you guys were there, you lost. But last time we were at your place, you lost. But I think the way this is, the last time we beat you, we still had Alex Grinch. So you got to think about this. This is, and Notre Dame look good, but this is we're not Texas A&M. I can tell you that.
We're different too, brother. We're different too.
Yeah, you guys look good.
We're not even close to what we used to be.
And here we go.
And you're talking about having some of the best coaches in the country. We got two coordinators as two of the best in the country.
Hey, may the best man win, man. And I hope you guys. Who you guys got next?
Hell, I don't even know.
No, they don't hardly play anybody all year.
No, we don't play anybody till we get. We got Louisville on the 28th, September 28th. We've got Northern Illinois this weekend. We got Purdue, then the Miami Redhawks. Hell, we ain't playing. Our schedule. I'll be honest with you. Our schedule sucks.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. We kind of got a little rough. I mean, we got to play Penn State. Yeah. We got to play you guys. We got to play Michigan. We got Wisconsin. I mean, we got Penn State. I mean, it's a schedule. But hey, we're gonna get through what we got to get through, one game at a time.
That's right. I'm with you.
Yeah,
that's why I'm hoping. I'm telling you, I'm truly hoping we're both undefeated going into the last one. That'll be a fun ball game.
I think that. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm gonna reserve judgment on USC right now, but it's all good. I do think that they did what they were supposed to do this past weekend. I'll give you that. But Notre Dame, they play. Let's see. So after this, Northern Illinois, Purdue, Miami of Ohio, then Louisville, then it's Stanford at home, Georgia Tech at home.
Georgia Tech ain't bad, boys.
Georgia Tech. Oh my God!
Are they good, or is Florida State just that bad?
I mean, that's kind of hard to. It's hard to judge it. I like the way I like what they did against Florida State. However, after yesterday, watching Boston College and Florida State,
yeah,
I don't know how to gauge that.
Yeah,
I kind of had to reassess some things.
Yeah. Look, we're gonna find out. I don't know that Georgia Tech's great. They've got to kind of back that up, because to me, what we saw last night, and this is what we were just talking about. I'm glad you're here for this conversation. DJU, we talked about this a little bit yesterday on the phone. I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad for him, and I'm friends with his family. I think that him and Mateo, great kids, and good athletes. I think they broke him at Clemson. I think they're breaking Cade as well. And I don't think that they have a very good culture at Florida State. It's one of those cultures of just the portal, and that is, that's a mercenary kind of thing. That's what we were talking about as you came in. I think there's enough wrong with Florida State that it's real easy to put all the blame on DJU. And I'm not telling you he played good last night, because he didn't play good last night. I think he would tell you that too. But you can blame it all on DJU if you want to, but there's a problem, and it goes all the way back to Clemson. What do you think to that?
Florida, when you say it goes back to Clemson with Florida State, you're talking about DJU's part?
DJU, it goes back to Clemson. Because Clemson, and I'll get to what I think about Clemson in a few minutes too, but I think that with DJU alone, Coach was saying it as you were coming in. So that was bad. Then he moved on into a different system. I think he learned a little bit from Smith there at Oregon State. I think it wasn't a terrible thing, but then you come back into another, what I don't think is a great culture right now.
I'm gonna
blame him for it all, even though there's a lot of holes.
Yeah, I don't like the way Dabo even did him with the whole Klubnik thing. To me, that was kind of strange. When I don't understand what happened with DJ. You remember when Trevor Lawrence got hurt, DJ came in there and played against Notre Dame, threw for like 400 some yards.
He had a great game.
He had a great game. And so I'm trying to piece together like what happened between that time and now. Sometime when he got snatched like that, because you could tell like Dabo had no faith in him. Put him on a short leash. And it was like you can always have somebody look over your shoulder. So as a result, you're gonna perform a certain type of way. And that gets in the mental sometime. I don't know if you guys ever had pressure, whether somebody or your coworker, but if that mentally affects you, that's gonna carry over. Now, when he goes to Oregon State, it's still in his mental. Now he goes to Florida State, it's still in his mental. So I think some of that is it, because the guy had talent. How do you don't go to Notre Dame and throw for 400 yards by accident? That just doesn't happen.
And that's exactly what I was saying earlier, USCJ, is, going from system to system, being the scapegoat in each one of those systems. You got different coaches in your ears telling you this is how you do things, and you go to another system, this is how you do things. I honestly believe that young man has lost all confidence in himself. And it doesn't help now that everybody's in his ass about, you're not the guy, we need to bench him. They were screaming, the fans were screaming to bench his ass the other night.
That could get in the mental.
That's where it's at with him. And I told Jason earlier, like you said, he had an incredible ball game when we played him. He looked incredible, but he has just deteriorated over time. Now, I'll say this: I really wished he would have stuck at one of those places. Yeah, and I know that can be either or. We can argue about that. But I think if he would have stayed in one of those systems and quit jumping from school to school, I think that might have been something that, because, we're always taught to fight adversity.
Sure.
And we've made it easy on kids to jump.
He wasn't trying to leave Oregon State, by the way. The fact is that the coach left and went to Michigan State.
Right.
It had either you were going to go to the league last year, which I would contend that he should have just done that. He should have just done that.
Because it wasn't as bad as it is right now. Yeah.
And here, Chrissy, he knew what DJU is. He won't run the ball to help him out. Yeah, they had 21 rushing yards yesterday. 21.
Yeah, they got some defensive problems too, though. It looked like Boston College was just moving the ball pretty easy. I know it's the offense, but
you kept hearing about them having the best defensive line in the country coming into that game.
I mean, where they go? I mean, they just disappeared. What happened to them?
They're still there.
Yeah,
they're still
exactly.
There. But they don't play like it.
Exactly. You better get them.
I'm telling you guys, there's some deep culture issues in that program.
Absolutely.
Deep. Yeah, they don't love hearing that. They don't love hearing that. But I can tell you this: when you can't get your team up, you can't get guys to stay around for a New Year's Six game at the Orange Bowl. Coach Bowden was flipping in his grave that they treated the Orange Bowl the way that they did. Think about that. Bobby Bowden, that's all he coached for was the freaking Orange Bowl. That's all they wanted to do. And so for me, that's insanity that you can't do that. And you can't keep any of those guys around. It's like I said, don't tell me that it's about injuries and it's because bowl games don't matter anymore and all this other crap. You can give me that all you want to. The bottom line is you were playing the back-to-back defending national champions in the Orange Bowl, which to me, if all these guys that are going to go to the NFL and they were skipping the bowl so that they can just get ready for the combine, you would have made yourself more money playing well in the Orange Bowl against Georgia. Don't tell me you wouldn't have.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I totally I agree. I mean, some of those guys, but that whole situation was, it was kind of a crazy situation. But they lost their quarterback. I'm not making no excuse for them. Louisville gave them a tough fight in the ACC championship. They look like a totally different team, even without their quarterback. So I just think that whole situation. I mean, I would have, personally, I would have played. I would have had some pride about it. But who knows what's going through that? But as you stated, I think the coach is really losing the locker room, man. It looked like he's essentially on the hot seat right now, big time.
Well, and they can't have him on the hot seat because they just extended him because they were under the impression that he was going to get the Alabama job, which is a bigger joke than any of this stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy. So I forgot they just extended him, but it looked like he's on the hot seat though. I mean, I don't know what the language is in that contract, but man. They got a limit right about now.
Yeah, they could have gotten hurt. That's the point. Yeah, they could have gotten hurt. You can get hurt walking out your front door, Benji. You could get hurt walking out your front door. These guys play a game of football that they could get hurt getting ready for the combine too. So it's the risk is, you can say that's a risk, and that's just an excuse though. It's an excuse, and we've given them the power to make those excuses. Now, I tell you what, if the Orange Bowl was coughing up a bunch of money to the players to not skip the Orange Bowl, then you probably would have seen how big of a worry that injury stuff was at that point. That's all going to change over time. The point I'm saying is that I think that there's programs that you're going to, you've never really seen Alabama players skipping those games. You haven't seen too many of the, hell, Georgia had their 2 first-round type guys skipped that game, but they had most of everybody else coming back. They were able to get up for that. Okay. Bottom line is you could have played better. And it's just, the point is there's a lot wrong with FSU that doesn't revolve around DJ Uiagalelei. There's a lot wrong with them. That's all I'm saying. And the other parts of that is, let's get into Clemson. There's a lot wrong at Clemson right now, ladies and gentlemen. There is a lot wrong at Clemson right now. It doesn't start on defense. We know that Brent Venables left them in really good shape defensively. But if you can't put points on the board and you have a guy that you said, second straight guy that they brought in that was the number 1 quarterback in his class coming out of high school, and now we're blaming it on him too. Meanwhile, Dabo Swinney's digging his heels in on everything. NIL, transfer portal, changing the playbook around any bit whatsoever. When you went and hired a Riley, they're not running a Riley offense. They're running the.
I don't know what it looks weird, man. Just how do you not score? They only scored 3 points, right? How do you not score a point? I know you played against Georgia, but that whole situation. But look, I think Dabo is very, very stubborn. I think he doesn't want to get with the times. And look, everybody's using the transfer portal right now. Everybody's using the transfer portal coupled with the NIL. Look, you better get with the program or you're going to be, like I say on my show, you're going to be lost in the sauce, period.
You have to.
Yeah, CJ, it's time for Dabo to move on.
Yeah, it is.
If you don't want to change with the times, then pack your shit up and move on, okay? Because
it's not even just one thing; it's everything.
No,
He's refusing.
He refuses to do those things. And I tell you what, if I'm the administrator there, I call him in and I give him two options. Number one, you get with the new ways of college football. If you don't want to do that, your second choice is pack your shit and get out. And that's the bottom line, because he's sitting there with an offensive coordinator that's one of the best in the country, and he refuses to allow him to run his offense. And you can't, it's just like any of us, guys. Whatever we do best, you know what? Let us do it.
Yeah.
Because if you're hamstringing us and you want us to run the Clemson offense that at one point was good.
Damn Fisher right now last year with this big ass binder of plays.
Amen. And you know what? I remember playing Clemson a few years ago in the Cotton Bowl, and they, you know what? They were so damn fast. The receivers would run by, and I couldn't even see them. It was a streak of light running by. They don't have those kinds of players anymore.
No, they don't.
But yet, Dabo wants to say, well, you know what? We can't use any of those portal players.
They're not good enough for the Clemson, is what he said. They're not good enough to play.
They ain't good enough to play Clemson. Well, let me tell you something, dumbass.
Asshole.
People are taking people out of there, and they're beating your ass with them. So what do you mean they're not good enough to play Clemson? It's Dabo. If you're listening, Dabo, pack your shit up and retire.
The crazy thing about it, man, like these guys that are coming out of the portal player, these are not washed up players. And I don't know if that's in his mind. I don't know, but you're talking about guys that are starters, like an Evan Stewart that came from Texas A&M. Now he's going to Oregon. You're getting seasoned players that's been there for 3 and 4 years. They're getting the bag and they're enhancing your team. Look, I'm like, you might not want me to say this. Caleb Williams enhanced our team. So, I mean, you're getting players that can automatically change your team overnight. And now you're going up against another team that has players that can change your team overnight. And you telling me you're not going to get with the program just because you got a 5-star? He's still not a developed freshman. You are lost to the sauce, and your mindset is gone, bro. You got to get with the program.
No, I agree. I agree 100% because, look, it's not that you can't still recruit, because we know that they can still recruit. They're not recruiting at the level they were before, but they're still recruiting well. But if let's say you're averaging around 10 or 11, whatever it is, and that's fine, because if you're averaging that well, then you're doing really well, okay? But let's say that's what you're averaging now, and you continue to average that over the next 2 or 3 years. But Team B, and whoever it may be, is averaging pretty similar to that. They may be 11, it may be 9, whatever. But if you're averaging right around that area, and then Team B, though, FSU in this case, goes out and gets a receiver that matters, last year. And now we talked about that they're using the portal a bit much, I think, but there's a middle ground somewhere in here that you better find if you're a coach. And he's not finding it. And not only is he not finding it, he's full of crap about the whole thing, saying, they can't play here. You went 8-4, Dabo. They could play there. Your offensive line has been crap. They could play there. It's not about that stuff. It's that you don't want to evolve. At least Nick Saban, and he evolved at times, even though he didn't want to. But when he decided it was enough, he got the hell out of the way.
Yeah, so he knew it wasn't for him. Yeah,
right. He knew
it wasn't for him. Yeah, yep. So you're not gonna kill. He wasn't gonna kill the program.
And Nick is a legend. Is a legend. Will be a legend.
So Dabo will be in
Dabo is no. Dabo is not going to be a legend. No.
Right.
No.
How many? He has what? Two championships?
Yeah.
Is it 2 championships he has?
Yeah. Dabo's not a legend. But I tell you what, and Dabo has had some good years. He's done a great job, but football is passing him by. The way it's being done today, it's passing him by, and he refuses to be part of the change. And you know what? College football doesn't give a damn if he's ready for the change or not. It's going to move on with or without him. And if he will get out of the way, that will allow Clemson football to at least try to get back into the hunt and be competitive. And I tell you what, I think they could have their head coach sitting right there within the program in Riley.
Do you think they're top? Do you guys think they're a top 25 team?
Oh no.
Here's the thing, and before we go too crazy here, they did play Georgia. Okay, they did play Georgia, and they held Georgia to 6 first-half points. Their defense is good enough for them to compete. Now, what I would tell you is what I just said to Coach earlier. They're no longer, and I heard this on the Oklahoma Breakdown, they were talking about it, Teddy and Gabe, which are former players, former NFL guys, and they were saying, look, they're no longer a threat for the national championship until he decides that he's going to evolve and get out of the way. And I disagree with what Coach said. I believe that Dabo is always going to be a legend there. You don't go and win 2 national championships at a place that doesn't win national championships and not be considered a legend. Now,
he's a legend in Clemson.
In Clemson, yeah, but I understand what he's not a legend. Nick Saban is a legend. Yeah, Nick Saban is a I totally understand. Okay. He's a college football legend. Yeah.
We can make that argument. Hey. We could probably make arguments for both sides of that fight. The point is his legacy, though, still, when you win a natty and you win 2 of them and you beat Nick Saban for both of them, there is something to be said for that. Now, what he's doing is ruining that legacy right now. For every year that they get worse than they were the year before, and that has been every year that they went 10-2 BVs last year there. Then they went 9-3, 9-3, and now 8-4 this past season. So bottom line is that it's not working. Now, Coach, I sat here the other night and said, look, he lost to Georgia. I still think they're going to win the ACC. I don't. But their defense gives them enough to win, for sure. But what happens is this, it's kind of the reverse of what I think about Lincoln Riley coming into this season, is that it's one thing for your defense to get a little bit better and be a little bit better on paper at least or whatever. But if you're not playing complementary football, making sure that you stick to the run like they should have last year at USC. I mean, you had a guy that averaged 8.5 yards a carry and he got 10 carries a game. That's insanity. It's the same thing as but you can flip that onto Clemson right here and say, look, your defense kept you in the game for the better part of 3 quarters before they got tired. They played an extra 10 minutes in the first half, 12 minutes actually, in the first half on the field. An extra 12 minutes. Go ahead, Coach. You're
so
Oh no, you're not. Go.
So that takes me to this though, because he won't go into the portal and get some of those guys. His depth is shit. Yeah. And therefore, that's why they cannot compete.
Well, but I mean, when you give up, so Mike Bobo, I think he had a good game plan. He was trying to hit him with the run.
Sure.
But if at halftime, 12 minutes of difference in game time for your defenses, that's significant. Then you go out and you score on that first drive of the second half. Now you put them in a position where they need to score. They go down and they only get a field goal after getting a couple of plays. Then you don't score on your next one, and here come the floodgates, because Bobo started hitting the edges, which is where they were susceptible to the run game. Once that happened, it's over now, because now they can hit deep plays because you have to put more men in the box. Plain and simple, you made your team one-dimensional, and it's really just on one side of the damn ball. You're not going to keep up with Georgia. That's for damn sure. But you're not even going to keep up for the better part of the year for very much longer in the ACC either. That's just where
we know. And we know there's injuries that occur during the year. If he has a few injuries, they're really in deep shit. And especially if they happen over on the defensive side of the ball. I'm just telling you, he has created a system that no longer works. It was great.
It doesn't work, man.
No, because even what I'm saying, if he's still doing great in the high school, yes, he's going to have talent in there all the time, but they have to develop it. Number one, we know they're not doing that on offense. When's the last time they had a first-round receiver? Same year that they last had a first-round quarterback. That's it. They haven't done anything very good lately on the offensive side of the ball. So, yeah, you can say Bryant Wesco's a really good player. I think he is. I think they've got another really good freshman. That's who you're going to depend on this year. Didn't look good last weekend. We'll see what it looks on that. And Thunder, it's not just it's going downhill now. It's been downhill. 10-2, 93, 8-4. That's downhill.
Yeah.
He's in a 747, and that son of a gun has run out of fuel.
Big time.
He's not recruiting in the top 10 every year either. He's not. He's been 10 or above the last few years. It's not the same thing. And even if it were, Thunder, if Team B is recruiting similar to you and he plugs a hole with a guy that he can get from another program in the portal, and you don't, like last year at wide receiver, Cam Coleman, you think that they couldn't have used Cam Coleman at Clemson last year? Because I think they could have.
Absolutely. Well, look, fellas, I got it. I want to come in. I want to keep my promise. I talked to you last night, Jay. I said I was coming on. Hey, so hey, Coach, man. Hey, stay blessed. And I know we'll get on here before we play each other, man. But you guys stay blessed and take care, man. Hey, fight on, man. Fight on.
Hey,
love you, brother.
Have a good
one. Likewise, family.
Amen.
He's a good cat.
Thank you, USCJ. Make sure you guys get over there and check out USCJ. If you're not already subscribed to his program, you should be. He's fun, lost in the sauce all the time. The USCJ show right here on YouTube. Make sure you get over there and check him out. It's USCJ 32, pretty much everywhere else. So if you're looking for him on Twitter or Instagram, you can find him there as well, right? Okay, let's see. We don't have to continue. Thank you, Esther, for coming in. We appreciate it. Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Esther.
Kim Hurst. Not another USC fan saying we're back. I wish I'd have seen that while he was still in here. My bad. If Clemson releases Dabo, does he coach another Power 4 team? That's no. Why would they wouldn't release him if he was going to do what you have to do, right? I mean, because if you go to another Power 4 team right now and he doesn't change his philosophy on the portal and NIL and all that other stuff, then that's not what
Can I answer that, Jason?
Please.
I don't give a shit.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
I just had to throw that in a little bit. No, he's not going to change, man. If he's not willing to do that, he's not willing to do that, right? That's just all there is to it. So, to me, again, we could talk about but the bottom line is this. When I watched that game with Georgia, and Shadi, you want to hop in here and talk about this, please do. I would tell you that, yes, they were in the game, and they could have stayed in the game, but if at some point, and Coach, you know this, if your defense is constantly on the field and you're already behind 10 to 12 minutes in the first half alone, it's not going to take forever to tip them over, even if they are still that good on defense. Not especially when you've got a team like Georgia. But they hung around for an awful long time to not have any offensive production.
Yeah. Sooner or later, it's going to hit you.
So that's where I just think that the cultures and what's going on here with a lot of these teams, there's a reason why we're seeing what we're seeing. It's not necessarily and if you can sit here and blame quarterbacks if you want to. And I'm not going to tell you that either Cade or DJU are playing good football right now, because that's not the case. But if that's all you're talking about is the quarterback today, following the FSU game last night, or following the Clemson game on Saturday, if that's what you're talking about, you're missing the boat. You lack context. The word of the week, you lack context.
Context, baby, context.
It is what it is. The AD at Clemson needs to somebody needs to step the hell up. Hey, those boosters that seem to run the show, the professor's been in there in the comments, and he's been talking about this about Florida coming up. There's another one. Florida. Shit is not good there. When you get blown out at the Swamp by Miami, Billy, you're in trouble, bro. You're in trouble.
Billy
They're not behind
boy,
you. Back to the Sun Belt.
Billy boy, the Swamp gonna eat you up, Billy boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's look, and then he came on yesterday and was talking about fans making content in their basement, talking shit about him, and they don't have to worry about them. You should worry about everybody right now, Billy, because it's not just them that are pissed off at you. The people writing checks are. And I get it. You got to close ranks and focus on what you need to focus on and all that stuff. But just like what Professor was saying a few minutes ago, you have to realize that those, and he said it to me on the phone the other day, those boosters do make those decisions for you. They do. They don't care about the buyout. They'll pay for it. If they get the guy they want, they will pay for it. Look at Texas A&M. They just freaking paid $78 million to not have Jimbo coaching on the sideline anymore.
Hell, it was worth it.
Yeah.
They'll make that money back in no time.
No doubt. No doubt. You want to jump in here, Shotty? I'm going to
Come on, Shotty.
I'm going to send this.
Come on, Shotty. You need to come tell me how boring we were.
How boring we were? We're not boring.
Notre Dame. How boring Notre Dame was.
Oh, yes. Hop in, Shotty. I do want this. This is good for ratings. Yeah. Billy calling out the basement Gators. Yeah, that's pretty wild, right? Speaking of that, if you guys didn't see the short that I put together, and it came from High Top Show, so shout out to High Top and Professor and all them. His show on Saturday night, and he did a call-in show. I talk about massive nuts for High Top to have that show. And I mean, he got beat to death by all the callers that called in, and just it was hilarious. It was hilarious. They had what I called the Hawk Tua from Gainesville on there. So the short that I did was kind of done by some fun. And they're fans, they're funny, but it was good stuff. But I could just hear. I watched a good hour of it. Professor was like, I gotta go get some sleep. Got another show that I'm gonna have to do in the morning. I gotta go get ready for this. So it was pretty funny. Just want to say the word numbnuts. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, numbnuts it is. Thank you, man. Houston, Western Temple. Yeah, they might be. I don't know. Hey, look, UNLV has been a lot better than people think they have been the last couple of years. I think Houston is bad right now. I don't think that you're necessarily wrong. Boomer 129. What's up, my dude?
What do we got, Jason? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How many we got?
Oh, good call. Good call. Good call. We have 45 likes. It's 10% though. We've got over 500 views. So less than 10%. Come on, guys.
Hit us with some likes or dislikes. If you love Notre Dame, hit the dislike.
Yeah. Just want to, hey, I said it. Numbnuts it is. Hey, he's not in here today, though. He hadn't been here yet. I usually kick him out a second he gets in here, though. Some of those guys, it's just what it is. Benji, you know you're getting it. And, we hadn't seen Bevo's bodyguard lately, but he gets it every time he comes into. It's just part of the game. Notre Dame wasn't boring. Texas A&M made the game boring. Look, you could call that boring if you want. I called it defense. Man. There was, and again, I think that, but I've talked about this when Coach Ricks was on the show with me the other day, and shout out to Coach Ricks, by the way. Go over there and check him out. He's a cool guy, man. Love him. But we talked about just what you get conditioned as a fan. And for the last minimum 10 years, but more like 10, 15 years, you've been winning the race to 50. That's how you're winning if you're a Georgia fan, right? If you're an Oklahoma fan, you're used to doing, I'm sorry, not Georgia. If you're an Oklahoma fan, that's what you're used to is win the race to 50, you're going to be good, right? That's how it's got to work. With Brent Venables, thank you, Kimberly K. This is perfect timing for this deal. Not going anywhere. We'll raise the state of tax, we'll raise state taxes first. Yeah, no doubt. And that didn't happen in Oklahoma either. That's hilarious. the bottom line is, though, if you didn't win the race to 50, you didn't do it. And we're, as an Oklahoma fan, you're kind of conditioned. It was funny because he said something to me after we had recorded that. And I was talking about, whoa, Alabama looked really good. It's concerning. You know, it's concerning what they looked like offensively with Milroe, who I don't think was a great passer last year at all. They put up 60, didn't give up nothing. That was a concern to me. And he goes, and then as soon as I sent that text, I sent another one. I said, see, I'm conditioned like that too. Because if Oklahoma's defense can step up in that game, which we believe they will, then you're going to have a chance to win it too. And you've got a good offense. This is the whole point of any of this stuff. You got to realize that things change. If you're not trying to do what wins national championships right now, and that was the point I made too, is that, look, when you can get at Oklahoma to where you could win a game 13-2, like their last national championship game, then you can win a natty again. It may not be 13-2. It could be 20, 21-14. It could be, 30-24. Fine. You're not giving up 50 a week. You're going to have opportunities. Right? That's the point. And that's not the way things have been. That's not the way things have been. Right? So it is what it is. Parker, what? Who? I don't want to talk about Parker. Come on, man. I got Bevo in the trailer. I saw a good tweet. He jumped, I guess, because of the boom, something behind him, right as they were coming out of the tunnel the other day, and it showed, and they said Air Bevo, and he got off the ground about yay high, but it was pretty funny.
Hey, Chicken. With that statement, I grew up in the Texas Panhandle. I've done a lot of dehorning and cut a lot of bull nuts. So if you got Bevo in the trailer, bring him on over and we'll throw him in the chutes here and get rid of them nuts. He don't deserve them.
Benji, you can't tell me those Connor knuckleballs in the ground was defense. Why can't? Sometimes I just don't think you even get it. Yes, you can. Do you think he would have done that without being pressured? Because I don't. The guy is one of the better throwers in the country. That's why he was a 5-star. Pocket passer, not a dual threat guy, a pocket passer. We know, and you should know, because Quinn Ewers, when he's under pressure, is not good. Gotta be better, bro.
The brand has finally returned. Your brand.
And I'm going to tell you what, all those receivers were covered like a blanket. Of course, he's going to throw some away. And did he have some bad passes? Yeah, but he also had pressure all around him all night long.
Mm-hmm. All night long.
Yeah.
All night long. And look, again, what did I just say? Context. There's more to it than just hit those knuckleballs. Come on. Be better than that. Don't come in here expecting to get stuff out there and not get fucked with. If you're going to say stupid shit, have context. A little bit. It's the same.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. I got a little wound up there. Sorry. All right. He got relentless pressure. This is the point. I'm just saying, man, when at some point you got to realize that there's more to it than one thing or the other. And just because I may bring up one thing and, we talk about it, but we're using context to it. Same thing we're talking about with Clemson. It's not that their entire team is shitty because they're good enough, but are they good enough to win a national championship right now? No. Do I think they're good enough to win the ACC? I don't. What, Scotty? You're eating your dinner at the moment. All right. Well, we're not going to stay a whole lot longer if you're not coming.
Hey, Scotty, you having some calf fries?
That's good stuff. I like that.
I love it.
Again, there's something more to it. There's more context than terrific defense. But that's not. Who said it was just terrific defense? Who said that? Benji, you get a timeout, bro. That's all there's to it. You earned it. Take it like it. There's more context to it. There is. The wide receivers were being covered up pretty well because they have one of the better secondaries in the country too. They have one of the best defensive lines I've seen in years when it comes to getting pressure. They were tougher than Aggie. That's what it was. They were tougher. The quarterback situation, yeah. I mean, look, they didn't turn the football over. That was part of it. But Aggie played really good defense too.
Yeah, they did.
Notre Dame wasn't punching it in very much. You were pissed off about it midway through the game. Like, they looked like shit.
I was pissed. But you know what? I've gone back. Obviously, I've gone back and watched the game like three times already. And, it really interesting because as a coach, I started after the first half, I started kind of replaying the game and the things that were happening. Number one, we had an offensive line that had 6 total starts, okay?
Yeah.
Career starts. They're going up against a defensive front that's one of the best in the country that, I know one of them for sure, Scourton, is going to go probably in the first round.
First or second, for sure. He's the first 2 days.
And he's going up against a true freshman offensive tackle. But with that being said, can you guys tell me how many sacks they had against our O-line that was a freshman tackle on the left side, the guard, a redshirt freshman, and then the right tackle was a guy that he started, I think, maybe 1 game, and that was in the bowl game. We had 0 sacks, guys. We had a few pressures, but Denbrock's plan was short game, run Riley, which Riley.
They ran the football really well, though. They also ran the football really well.
Yes. And if he did get pressure, he was running out of that. Now, there was a couple of times, not only did he come out of the pressure, but if he could have thrown the ball, that I remember 2 instances where he got pressure and you thought he was going to be sacked and he got out of it because he's a big bastard, boys and girls. He's not a little fella. And he's a great basketball player. So that tells you he's a great athlete. But he got out of those things. And if he would have delivered the pass well, we'd have had probably a couple of other scores. But at the end of the day, he didn't. But I'm just telling you.
Coach, though, I would say the difference is like this year and last year. And I think that quarterback-wise, I don't know you had a ton of difference. I think that the play calling, though, there looked like there was something to it. That they had a plan. They didn't always execute it. I think early on, you're not going to necessarily, particularly against a good defense, you're not going to succeed right away on everything. But as the game went on, you saw Riley Leonard do things that you needed to see.
Well, and you made the point.
Day, Marcus Freeman finally got over the hump.
Yeah. Well, he also dropped his nuts in the third quarter when, fourth and go or 4th down and 2, and he goes for it on what, his own 30, 35, something like that. And then he turns around and we do it again, which, by the way, 100% proof evidence that Riley did make the first down because his whole body was past the line to gain, which they didn't give it to us. But you know what? That was stating Riley or Coach Freeman saying, you know what? We're going to attack. We're in attack mode. I believe in my defense. I believe in my offense. And so, therefore, it worked out pretty well for us. But anyway, the whole point I was trying to make there, long way around, the whole point I was trying to make was the offensive coordinator, Denbrock, he was trying to see what was going to work, had a good game plan, and finally And something else, boys and girls.
Are you paying attention?
I'm just going to tell you, boys and girls, at the end of the night, who was puking their quarterback for A&M? How many times did we have stoppage of the game for players from Texas A&M with cramps? And so at the end of the day, guys, Notre Dame had nobody that went down on the field for cramps. We didn't have anybody throwing up. So anyway, that's all I got.
No, listen,
the game plan was there.
I think it's always the chicken or the egg conversation when you start having these talks anyways about, was it the defense that held them or was it the offense was really good? What is it? I mean, you could say both, but in the end, somebody steps up, somebody doesn't. You got to give credit where it's due, because they were going up against a good defense and they scored some points when they needed to. They won by 10 on the road in a tough environment to go win in because of how loud it is. And
Jason,
from everything that I could see, they were a little more uninviting for Marcus Freeman than you generally hear about from their fans. They're generally loud, but they're not complete pricks. But real quick, I just want to answer this. Kimberly K, that was hilarious. They're talking about bull nuts and all that stuff in there. And she says that's a serious meal for this late at night. Men live on the edge. Well done. Well done. Yeah, that was awesome.
I love it, Kimberly K.
Hilarious. Oh, that was too good. There's cramps and there's.
I love it.
We're not going there, Lou. Come on. I'll be there when Aggie and Notre Dame defenses look horrible against bad teams' defense. What?
Say that again. What was that?
He said, "Oh, it's more of Benji's nonsensical takes."
I'll be there when Aggie and offense.
Yeah. Until then, are you going to shut up? Because I don't think you are. You just showed us that you're not. So there we go. Game of inches. Inch this way, inch that way. Mountain oysters. Yes, sir. That's another way to call it. Calf fries.
There you go.
Nuts, whatever. Rocky Mountain oysters. Yes.
Calf fries.
Okay. Now, what else we got? I think that's about it, man. We've dogged enough people tonight, talked enough shit. There'll be some good football this weekend. Let's just kind of end it with on that stuff. Sure. Who do you like this weekend? There's not a ton of huge games. There's a few good ones though. Hold on, let me pull them up. We'll pull them up. Some of the
we didn't talk about. What we didn't talk about was changes in the AP poll.
Changes in the AP poll. I'll pull that up too. 1 second. Let's go to the games real quick, and then we'll talk about the changes to the AP poll. Hey, you know what? One of the things about the AP poll, it's kind of weird that both Georgia Tech and Boston College are going to get a top 10 win because the AP poll wasn't updated until today. So Florida State, that's kind of one of those anomalies, right?
Yep.
Schedule. Week 2. Here we go. One of the better games of the weekend, obviously, Texas at Michigan. Number 3, Texas. Number 10, Michigan. You've got, I like the Arkansas at Oklahoma State game.
Benji.
Then Iowa State, Iowa is another good one. What's that other one we're missing here?
Tennessee,
NC State. Yes, another big one there. Like that one as well.
I know you're taking NC State, right?
I don't think so. No. I think that NC State's really good. I think that they can give them a game. It's at a neutral field. I guess they could win, but I'm not going to pick that. No. I mean, I like to win contests and stuff. I don't like to be wrong, but I just think it's a tougher game than a lot of people think. I think it's a tougher game than a lot of people think. That's all. Who do you like?
I think Tennessee straps it on.
Okay. That's weird. Iowa State, Iowa. This is Iowa State, Iowa. Who you got?
Iowa State, Iowa. You know what? I'm going to take Iowa.
Okay. Hey, they got a better offense. They got a better offense, and they always win.
They did. They look better.
Yeah, they're better on offense. We'll see how much better because they're going to play a really good one. The total in this one, they're not expecting much offense. 35.5 is the total for the over-under.
Wow.
Iowa giving 2.5. It's basically a pick 'em. I'll take Iowa too. No, you know what? I'll go the other way. I like Iowa State a lot. I like their quarterback situation. It's on the road. They probably don't win it, but I would, I think they could. We'll see.
I think it'll be a good ball game. I really do.
I do too. And then, of course, let's see. There was another one that I liked.
Hey, as you're talking about that, I just want to throw out, the Texas Tech Red Raiders are setting the world on fire.
Yeah, Texas Tech and ACU in overtime win for the Red Raiders. Oh, that basketball school that don't win at basketball too. What the hell's going on?
Hell, AC Abilene Christian University was NAIA not many years ago.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Arkansas, Oklahoma State. That's the other one we're going to pick. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. You know who I'm going with?
I do.
And damn sure ain't Oklahoma State.
Right. I think that Bobby Petrino and this quarterback, it's troublesome for them. They didn't really do much but with Ollie Gordon. I think they're going to find that being one-dimensional against Arkansas, probably not a good thing. Yeah, we'll see. I think that Arkansas wins the game. That's what I think. AP top 25, no changes to the top 3. Actually, wait. Yeah, they're one change in the top 3. Texas goes up 1 over so they move up 1 to number 3. You had who dropped? Oregon dropped 4 spots.
Yeah, Oregon dropped quite
not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. They dropped 4 spots from 3 to 7. And you had Alabama move up 1, Notre Dame moving up 2 spots to the number 5 spot ahead of Ole Miss, who doesn't play anyone until, forever. It's a while. Ole Miss doesn't really have to play.
They must be like us.
Yeah, similar. Very similar, actually. You had Missouri moving up 2 spots into the top 10. Utah moving up. The biggest movers were SC up 10 spots to number 13. A couple of places ahead of Oklahoma. That's bullshit. And then 7 spots up for Miami after going on the road and winning. I'll give them that. Iowa moves into the top 25. Arizona somehow doesn't fall out, even though they struggled with a really trash UNM team that had blown a lead to Montana State the week before.
Yep.
They don't play defense at Arizona, apparently. I don't know. Doesn't look good. All right, you're not going up to number 1. See, just get him again. ACU and Taco Tech were playing for that new trophy last weekend, the old Bull Nuts trophy. The tortillas sure as shit hit the field once it was over with, though. And didn't you say there was an accident or something? Or there?
Yeah, there was an accident after the game. Some drunk kid ran into the bus, the ACU bus, and sent several people to the hospital.
Yeah, that's wild. Michigan drops to 10. Let's see. I was looking at Tennessee goes up 1. Oklahoma moved up 1 spot only after their win. I didn't expect them to really move much. Oklahoma State, they move up after an FCS win. Okay, great for them. K-State moves up 1. LSU dropped 5 spots from 13 to number 18 after losing.
They're fixing to drop out is what they're fixing to do.
Yeah, it's kind of, I mean, I don't know, man. When they lost 2 years ago, they went on a run for a while, but they ended up with 3 losses headed in to the championship game. So it is what it is. But Iowa moving in, you had Clemson. Clemson is at 25. They dropped 11 spots, though. 11 spots. Tells you what people
deservingly
think
about so.
Tells you what you think about them. Yeah, I agree. I think that I think they're a mess. All right, guys, we appreciate
it. Hey, let me I want to ask Shotty real quick. What quarterback you talking about? Talking about Notre Dame's quarterback?
But QB is the weak link. Everybody else will have to be better around him when it comes to a game that matters. So I think he's talking about. I think he was talking about A&M maybe, or maybe he's talking Clemson. I think he might have been talking Clemson.
I don't know. I was curious as to
Tulane versus Kansas State is his game. He says the one he likes this week.
Tulane versus Kansas State is my game. Okay,
that's a pretty good game too.
But what quarterback were you talking about, Johnny?
Yeah, what QB were we talking? I can't throw that in deletion button. This is, well, biggest road game ever. No, I agree with this. We've been talking about this. Up against a Brent Venables defense, you're a freshman. You won't have seen anything that they do in the first 3 games. Yeah, it's tough. I think it's going to be tough for Nico Iamaleava, for sure. Nico. So, yes, I would agree with you on that. But, hey, look at I agreed with him for something. Go figure. Lots of people calling the Tulane upset. Possible. I can see it. Shawty, answer the question so we know who you're talking about. The Clemson quarterback. Yeah, he is lost. I think that's what we've been saying. That they don't have confidence because of what's going on. And look, Oklahoma fans know what the Lincoln Riley and Garrett Riley offense looks like, and it's not this. No way.
No.
For 2 peas in a pod? Yeah, sure. Avery ain't going to be sitting in the pocket all game as he did last Saturday for 2 quarters. We'll see, Shawty. I think that I like Kansas State, man. I think they beat Tulane here. They owe Tulane for the last time they played. So I wouldn't pick that upset right now. I would pick Kansas State. I like Avery Johnson a lot. I love their receiver room, and I think they got really good when they got Dylan Edwards through the portal in the backfield. They're really good running the ball just as much as they are going to be passing. I like K-State, man. I do. Go ahead.
I do too. No, I was going to ask you, Jason, where did the Tulane quarterback go? Do you remember? Does anybody remember?
I don't know. I didn't
Where
know.
Where did Tulane quarterback go?
He left.
I really like that kid.
Yeah, but didn't he get drafted? He'd been around a while, or maybe he was done out of maybe.
No, he went somewhere else. I don't remember where it was he went.
I know the Texas State kid went to Western Kentucky because they were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything about Tulane. Not sure.
Okay. Because I really liked him watching him in that bowl game.
Real.
I mean, he was a big reason they beat USC.
Oh yeah, man. He was a stud. The one thing I'll say about Willie Fritz: sleep on Houston as long as you want to. I'm not going to. Those guys are going to be good. They're not probably going to be good this year. It looks like they're not good. They got the hell beat out of them the other day.
Right.
By UNLV at home. Okay, he was at the combine. So yeah, I thought that was what was going on. Benji says, I lost my mouse. I don't know why. Oh, because it's turned off. What a dickhead. Sorry. Maybe. Yeah, there it is.
Tulane is my. You know who I'm going to take as my G5? Appalachian State.
Yeah, I think we'll find out this week how big Memphis is, because Memphis has Florida State. I think Memphis was already one of the better ones. Boise State, Memphis, and then Liberty. I don't like Liberty as much as everybody else does. I think it's Memphis, and I think they'll show you what they are compared to I guess you want to call them a Power 5 deal. You never know. One never knows. He was at the combine. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, man. Coach, anything else? Anything else?
Go Irish.
Horns down. Yeah. All right. Guys, we appreciate everybody coming into the show. Make sure you show up here in the morning for Rise and Shine College Football at 10:15 Eastern Time. That's 7:15 on the West Coast. We'll be in here talking a little bit. I'm going to continue talking context because context is important. And we're going to be talking context in terms of quarterbacks on that Oklahoma roster and some other stuff. So make sure you jump in here and check us out then in the morning as well. Guys, make sure you check out. Hey, take care of our sponsors. I don't have it popped up here on the screen right now, but if you do need licensed gear for whatever team you like, go to our Fanatics Superstore, hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. You will get the best prices you can get on the Fanatics Superstore, which is the #1 team retailer in the world. Make sure you jump in there. It doesn't generally help us out a ton at all. I think we get like, I don't know, maybe an apple every 3rd or 15th time somebody buys. But it's a great deal for you. I actually love it myself just for the discount that we get. So I make sure that we jump on there and I buy a lot of stuff myself. You can get official show merchandise like the SEC Fears Oklahoma shirt or Coaches I Don't Give a Shit, or all the horns down gear your little heart desires at hofmedia.us/pod-merch. And then, of course, if you want to save money on your wireless bill, check out trymintmobile.com/HOF and get 3 months of unlimited talk, text, and data for just $45. That's just $15 a month on the nation's largest 5G network. It saves you a lot of money. I'm saving over $1,600 this year off of 2 phone plans, unlimited talk, text, and data. You can do the same without switching over until after the 3rd month's up. You can try it out. So get in there and check it out. That definitely helps the program out a lot, but it'll also help your pocketbook. We'd love to see you do that. The free way to help the show, hit the flip and like button or the dislike.
Good night to my good friend, Rubber Fight.
Huh? What'd you say?
Good night to my good friend, Rubber Fight.
Rubber. Well done. Well done, Coach. No, man, we appreciate it. Like I said, share us with your friends.
We appreciate you, man.
Hit that 4,000. We haven't even hit 3,800. I was asking for 4,000 by the start of the season. We're not sharing the stream with other folks. We need that. Please get out there and share that with everybody else. That's the easiest way, honestly, to help this program is just hit that like button. Make sure that we're getting seen by more people. The more subscribers you have, the more you get looked at. It's just that how the algorithm works. That's a free way to help us out. If you love the show, share it with others because sharing is caring, like Jay says. All right.
That's right. How many likes, dislike?
How many likes?
Come on, guys. Hit us with 52. Some likes or dislikes.
Oh, man. 52. And we're up at around 650 on views. So that's not great. Guys, come on, man. All right, man. Timeout ruined my first super chat. Meh. Lies. Lies.
You got a chance. Throw Rubber Fight. You have a chance to do it right now. Hit us with your super chat. We'll wait. We'll wait for it. Yeah, I know. I'm calling him out, though.
That wouldn't work. That would never work.
I'm calling him out.
Stephen G says, blame my cat. Appreciate you coming in, man. We're gonna bust your chops every time. You know it.
Good job. Good job.
You as well. Glad for everybody to come in here. Context, OU's O-line didn't have their main players. Yeah, there's a lot to it. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Make sure you join us in here tomorrow, Kim. We appreciate you. Okay, guys? All right.
Love you guys.
Appreciate everybody coming in and throw them horns down. We'll see you on the next one.